The following film is rated PG. The content in this version of the film is viewable to anyone that is designed to view it. Anyone talked negative about during this film will most likely not have access to viewing this version. This film is for promotional use only. No money was made during the recording or editing process of creating this film. Frankie the Lucky Dog has always lived a life full of ups and downs. From the failure at communicating with people, to succeeding as a rapper, producer, music promoter, and more. From the disgusting acquaintances...
Shut up! I don't like you! Why? Because I don't like you!
To some of the most influential people in his life.
Are you aware of Frankie the Lucky Dog?
From the most exciting moments...
There's another winner!
To the most unthinkable, shocking moments.
God bless you, I wish you all the luck in the world, and I'll miss you tremendously.
I never expected to be successful in the mainstream. Take a look inside Frankie's creative, imaginary life.
Helen, are you there? Learn what?
And learn what it's like for an autistic person to live a life of his own. This is a decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog.
Tell me what do you think about that?
The year is 2000.
It's February 2000, and 11-year-old Frankie the Lucky Dog is playing Final Fantasy VII, one of his favorite video games, during a trip to Long Island.
Jennifer!
But it was the trip after, in the middle of March, that developed a new interest for Frankie. While playing Final Fantasy VIII in the living room, his mom, Helen Smith, would have radio station Party 105.3 play on the radio.
Party 105 had an interesting mix of music. 1 minute you heard this,
She was in love and I'd ask her how.
then this, and some of this.
You think I'd leave your side, baby?
I researched online and discovered that it was a rhythmic format, combining dance music, rap, R&B, reggae, and upbeat pop music. Loved it and still do. It became my music taste. Even before I developed my music taste, I always was a fan of the really interesting, crazy, and catchy songs I heard. For example, the way Jewel was descriptive with her lyrics.
Brush my teeth, I put the cat back on.
How something could repeat itself and be hella catchy. And Aaliyah adding a baby voice in her song. I also didn't know most of the actual lyrics or what things meant at the time, but I liked it.
Although loving music became a passion, during the near end of spring, a combination of all-day listening and envisioning created a disorder in Frankie's brain.
All of a sudden, I'm at recess as a character in my imaginary video game, and I hear music play through my head. All these years, it never went away. Sure, it's hard to concentrate, but I get to pick which song plays in my head randomly. Really strange. The downside to it is that if somebody yells or somebody says a negative thing to me, the song playing in my head or even playing on a stereo iPod gets ruined, meaning that song will always remind me of that moment of negativity. Mostly, I allow either ambient or dance music to play in my head since it helps me focus more due to there being less vocals. Want to see a sample of what it's like? Watch this. This is probably going through my head right now. Sometimes it's two songs at once at this low volume.
As music's distracting, right around the end of the school year, Helen had something unanticipating to reveal to her son.
We're at Michael's school, ready to pick him up outside, and my mom talks to me about Santa. Out of nowhere, she tells me that he's not even real. When I first heard that, it was like a shock. What do I say to something like that? At least he was in my life 12 years. Then again, when she said Santa dropped off our printer March 12, 1999, aka her birthday, that was a sign there. But who would have never imagined? I still like to pretend to write him at times, just to let the feeling of Christmas out.
Frankie has always lived differently. The different lifestyle took a turn around the same time when Ian Neary, a student in Frankie's 6th grade class, took the hood of Frankie's jacket and covered his face.
When I would send Frankie to school here in Pennsylvania, I was afraid what would happen to him throughout the day. The students would harass the out of him because he was different.
Terrifying, just thinking about it. The kid even assumed that I was able to breathe. It was instant.
The worries later calmed down on July 1st when Frankie, Helen, and his brother Michael moved back to Long Island. While living on Long Island for the second time, Frankie continued to build his imagination through the music he loved hearing and the video games he played. After previously listening to a top 8 at 8 countdown in Pennsylvania on July 5th, Frankie decided to create his own top 10 countdown and having an imaginary radio station, the Long Island Lamb.
Welcome to the Long Island Lamb Top 10.
I still do the countdown to this day, every day. I won't give it up. Nothing's better than hearing my 10 favorite current songs of the day.
Even though Frankie was living better in New York, less than a week later, the unthinkable happened. During the AM hours on July 11th, Frankie's uncle, Richard Rash Roberts, was involved in a burglary in Pennsylvania. While departing in his car, he began to drive intoxicated.
I got a phone call at work from my mother that Richard was involved in a car accident. He fell asleep behind the wheel. His car hit a tree. He was brought to 2 hospitals complaining about chest pains. After receiving medication, his lungs were filling up with blood.
Rash was pronounced dead that same day during the afternoon. He was only 37 years old.
The moment he died was shocking to us. Just 1 month before, I saw him possibly once, letting him listen to Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z and UGK. The week he died, family gathered around our house like a family reunion. Never saw anything like it before.
Lauren, I remember the song. Yeah, sing somebody 20 hit, you know what I mean?
Even though he's not alive, how's Rash? How do you think he's doing?
I hope he's doing good. I hope he's up there with his father. He never knew his father. And maybe one day I'll get up there to see Rash.
As life took a change in the family, Frankie found a hobby every weeknight at 8 and 9 to keep track of music countdowns of the hottest songs out.
Wow, brings back memories. It was like countdown fever. And then there were some weeks I'd keep track of like 7 countdowns in 1 week. Talk about multitasking. And then to keep the excitement going, Party 105 had Pump It or Dump It.
Party 105, Pump It or Dump It.
Pump It or Dump It was this segment every weeknight at 7:15 where they would premiere a new song, dance, rap, R&B exclusives, and it became so interesting to me, I even kept track of the Pump It or Dump It's too. Leo G and Billy the Kid were the DJs at night who sounded like they really loved the music and what they were doing.
Pump It or Dump It on Faith Hill. Dump it. 75% of our listeners say what? Dump it. Oh, down the tubes.
And to express how much I loved music, I would create music videos and dance around to them like crazy.
About a month into countdown tracking, the family decided to spend the weekend camping. It was one of Frankie's rare moments where he expressed to the family the music he loved.
I remember camping, everyone's outside, I have the radio on, and I'm just stopping everyone's thoughts to pay attention to my countdowns and the music I like.
The number one song. Hey everyone.
I don't know how I had the guts to do that. I wouldn't come close to doing that today. The world's different and so is my thinking.
Everyone, scream.
The following month, Frankie entered 7th grade at the John F. Kennedy Middle School on Long Island. Although enjoying music, socializing was at risk.
After the first week of the school year, the faculty said that there were going to be assigned lunch seats. I didn't like the idea, so I wound up spending lunchtime and most of recess in the guidance office.
Although independent during lunch, it was Italian class that would help Frankie express his talent. On September 27th, his Italian teacher, Miss Quinn, had a radio, and for an assignment, it marked a moment for Frankie's upcoming music career.
My Italian teacher had this radio, which had a microphone, and in the middle of class, I performed and recorded Spente la Stella, a version of opera trance featuring Emma Chaplin's Spente la Stella to this girl, Stacy, I like.
Stella, your la ragazza,
The interesting thing was the song even hit my own countdown, peaking at number 5.
And the number 5 song on the Long Island Lamb Top 10 is Frankie. You're very famous. Frankie with Spente La Stella.
Everyone got a kick out of it. I'm known for being a character.
Right around the success of Spente La Stella, yet another devastating moment occurred.
We're going to see Daryl at the hospital. He's sick, very sick, but he can talk a little.
Frankie's little cousin Daryl had a serious infection in his lungs.
Daryl, who was only 4 at the time, had to get this infection removed from his lungs. Glad he survived and pulled through. Such a shocking experience for someone so young.
Having a lack of communication with people, Frankie enjoyed having lunch in the guidance office. While there, he would use his imagination to make his family happy. However, something strange was going on with him.
He never wants to go into the lunchroom and be with the other people. So he would eat his lunch in the guidance counselor. Said he was in a world of his own.
At the time, I didn't think anything was wrong with me. I was always different. Nothing seemed to control me. I had full control of everything I did independently.
Also, Frankie began to have a health problem as he had an ingrown toenail in his big toe. In November, after doctors had numbed Frankie's foot, the nail was successfully removed without any pain. As time went on with keeping track of countdowns, a new type of countdown also began to strike Frankie's interest.
All of a sudden, it's New Year's Eve. I was listening to Party 105, and they said, the top 105 songs of 2000 coming up. When I heard that there was such thing as a year-end countdown full of songs of the year, I immediately took interest, keeping track of the whole entire thing.
And today, Party 105 Top 105. 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Think you can handle it?
I kept track of 2 of them at once.
The year 2000 introduced Frankie to a love for music. For 2001, he gets introduced to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Coming up next, a sad ending to influential DJs.
Just heard one day that Leo G and Billy the Kid were leaving Party 105.
And Frankie hits it big when A Decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is 2001.
After keeping track of 2 year-end countdowns, Frankie decided to create his own year-end countdown. The countdown consisted of 125 songs.
It was tough to do the countdown. The thinking process seemed long, and to find where I taped each song was real rough as well.
Frankie seemed focused about how he kept track of things, but once again, another bully was in his way.
I'm walking down the hallway past the guidance office, as usual, and some random kid shoves into me. Not just once, this was more like whenever he saw me.
That was the moment where Helen finally made the decision to have her son evaluated. While evaluated on February 12th, Frankie was diagnosed with autism, a social disorder that creates a struggle with Frankie's communication.
Once I was diagnosed, I really didn't know anything about it. It took about 5 years before I started to let people know about it. My actions are autistic.
He'd go underneath the table. He would make funny noises.
During the same week Frankie was diagnosed, an exciting moment let Frankie retry something he used to be interested in.
He won $400.
My Uncle Willie bought this brand new $2 scratch off and won $400 on it. It was the second ticket in the roll, and my uncle felt rich.
58. I can't count anymore.
After that, I started buying scratch-offs again, as well as rebuilding my collection of collecting them, which is still going strong. I probably have over $100,000 in losing tickets. I collect them because they look cool with all their colors, themes, and I do different things with them. It became like this whole successful movement.
$10 there and $10 there. It's $200. There's another winner.
As Frankie had increasing luck, he finally got rid of a previous foe.
About a month after I got evaluated, I reported the kid that shoved into me to the principal. While we were in there, he kept denying the story and started crying. I'm glad I stopped him.
Luck kept increasing for Frankie. One particular Monday, March 26th, in English class, he had to stay 30 minutes extra to make up an exam. With timing being abnormal, he and his mom stopped at the Amoco gas station to pick up some scratch-offs. While his uncle won big on a ticket in the beginning of the roll, he saw one of his favorite games near the end of the roll.
I asked the guy at the counter, what number does that ticket say? And he said 4. I was originally gonna get 1 ticket and I took all 4. On ticket number 3, I won $200.
At just 12 years old, Frankie became lucky.
The money lasted me a whole month. Mostly, I won back and forth on more scratch-offs and bought some video games.
Thanks to the $200 winner and the Marquez Deli located on Long Island, Frankie decided to have a lottery ticket hall of fame in his room, just like they would have in the deli.
I came back with making my own lottery tickets.
While being lucky with the lottery, the tables turned on the music side. On April 30th, Leo G and Billy the Kid, the DJs Frankie admired on Party 105, were leaving.
Just heard one day that Leo G and Billy the Kid were leaving Party 105. Still don't know why. Definitely the DJs that gave me hope and excitement for the world. There'll never be anyone better. Really miss listening to them. I get good vibes when playing back the tapes I taped of them.
To replace Leo G and Billy the Kid was another DJ, AG, who changed Pump It or Dump It's name to Smash or Trash, but kept the party going. Throughout 2001, Frankie would learn how to make ceramics and even sew his own pillows.
Still helps me go to sleep.
On Frankie's 13th birthday, out of nowhere, a mysterious voice airs on Party 105 while a psychic is on the air.
Hi, you're on the air with Jeffrey. What's your name?
Hi, Rafaela.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, what do you want to know?
I'm listening to Party 105 and unexpectedly, my stepmom Rafaela gets on the air with a psychic.
Oh my God, I don't know. What about my relationship?
All right, I was going to get to that. Let me finish. They're giving it to me as a second marriage coming up.
Oh, I'm so glad.
It's going to happen. What do you mean? Don't worry about it.
Identifying. She wound up marrying my dad, too.
You're the best.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Amazing.
As shocking as that was, one day in the summer, Frankie's family discovered something interesting on TV that would let Frankie brainstorm entertainment ideas.
I'm Joe Rogan, and this is Fear Factor. The stunts you're about to see were all designed and supervised by trained professionals.
And I just tumbled to the side.
You also have to drink 1 glass of the 100-year-old eggnog.
Fear Factor was an entertaining show with intensity. Loved and watched like every episode and devoured the style they brought to television.
The shock factor continued July 14th when, while in Pennsylvania visiting, Helen found something outside her mom, Muka's house.
Everyone's been talking about rash.
My mom caught this huge toad, never saw anything like it before. I named it Rash in honor of my late uncle. After that moment, a whole toad movement shortly begun.
That's an alien frog.
Happiness was all over Frankie's summer, but then Frankie caught an unexpected phobia that would change his ways of listening to music forever. In August, Eurodance singer Amber released the popular single Yes. The lyrics contained a sex scene.
My mom heard me listening to it like I always listen to music, and she would complain. I no longer listened to music I really liked with my door open, and every time someone would come into the room I would be in, I would either automatically pause the song, or I'd put on like ambient music till they left.
Then there were answering machine messages.
Helen, are you there?
Muka may have been funny, and then my Aunt Linda was crazy.
Don't go slinging it down, give me a big attitude. It's 1 o'clock.
Are they clean?
No, they're not clean, they're dirty.
As the tide changes, Frankie's educational life takes a turn too. On September 5th, Frankie was registered to 8th grade in the Jefferson School, a private BOCES school for kids with disabilities.
When I first went to the Jefferson School, I was really concerned. The people at JFK were cool. I really liked them, regardless of my lack of communicating. The kids seemed really strange to my creativity. I didn't get it.
Even worse, less than a week later, on September 11th, Party 105's Smash or Trash would go away forever. It was the terrorist attacks of 9/11 that would make Smash or Trash go away. The countdowns Frankie kept track of would go on pause too.
It was a whole week of no countdowns and barely any music. Couldn't deal with it.
Without music led to another concern. Throughout going to school in the month of September, Frankie noticed the students in his class were acting really weird.
You're all going to time out.
To describe the actions to his mom, he videotaped how they would act in class.
Let's see the left. Luna, you're so precious. Luna, I miss you. Much. Much.
Ew, it's freaking weird.
Can you sharpen an eraser? Hello?
Being in class with people like that was entertaining, but very weird at the same time.
Once Helen found out about the students, she took action immediately. On October 1st, Frankie was welcomed into Mr. Kingston's class. The class consisted of smarter, better functioning kids with less disabilities. While in the school, Frankie was introduced to the Macintosh computer.
When I first saw a Mac, I thought it was so weird. So different. I never thought I'd come close to getting one. Thanks to proving me wrong, Marywood University.
And also discovered Sim Tower, an addicting game that kept his mind occupied.
I previously was introduced to SimTown in 5th grade. Became addicted to creating my own town all the time. Now with Sim Tower, I became addicted to creating a tower of people living everyday lives. Man, I bought that game about a month later and gotta love it.
To include his love for games, Frankie met two very special people in his class. Dana, a funny and special person to be around to talk to, and Renee, an influential, highly creative person for role-playing games and computers.
Dana was definitely someone I could laugh and joke around to, but Renee, what an influential person. If I can remember right, we were on stage in the gym and she said, "Do you like Final Fantasy?" Immediately, it caught my attention in a major way. She's probably the only female I ever met where it was not about how you looked, it was what was in your heart. I wish I could find the both of them on Facebook today. Their last names are long and hard to remember.
Following the creative timing came The Amanda Show, another entertaining show on TV about being funny.
Where's Amanda? I said, where's Amanda, please? I like eggs.
Hi there, welcome to Beanie Duper.
Welcome to Scooper Duper.
Damn, I love starting all kinds of movements, please.
Another movement that caught Frankie's attention was grills.
I was always fascinated with braces back in the day, so when I saw a grill in Lil Jon's mouth, I was like, wow, an adult can wear braces too? I was starting to embrace southern rap music thanks to him and his Bia Bia remix that was released that summer.
But Frankie also went through a near-death experience. At the end of November, he went into the bowling alley with his class. After just minutes inside, fumes took over Frankie's lungs. He had an asthma attack.
It felt like I suffocated. 10% breathing level. It took the bus 5 minutes to come to my rescue, and when they came, I took 4 puffs of the inhaler. That's right, double the requirement, because it was that bad.
Today it was very bad. I had an asthma attack. I couldn't breathe for 5 minutes.
Can't believe that even happened to me at such a young age.
But Frankie bounced back like it was nothing. December 13th would become one of the most luckiest days of his life.
I go into Sports Plus, and the first thing I play is this Titanic game. I put the coins in, and don't you think the second I hit the button, I win the 3-coin jackpot? F***ing awesome.
Wow.
That led to Frankie also becoming the school's Student of the Week. Coming up, Frankie making movies. And later, a painful change of pace.
And I'll miss you tremendously.
It was like sacrificing everything.
When A Decade of FrankieThaLuckyDog continues.
The year is 2002.
The year 2002 was filled with non-stop creativity.
What about Seal? The Pallid.
But would become one of Frankie's worst years later on. While recording a film called Alien Nation 3: The Escape, Frankie not only acted,
What's that number? I need to know that number. I must know the number now.
but used the filming ideas to create his own movies throughout the year.
Those were the days, the good part of 2002.
The creativity continued with Renee and the computer program Paint.
Wow, that girl could draw! She's the reason I got into cropping pictures and doing different things with paint.
Frankie would then rendition Fear Factor.
I'm Joe Rogan. This is Lamb Factor. You will have to smell All of them. Wait.
Mike and Dan made these stink bottles. God, I love my creativity. Around that time, Alienation 3 was completed. I even made up a blooper on there. And then a month later, we had this play. All rise, the Court of Paris. France is now in session. The Archdeacon of Notre Dame will now preside as the judge.
Frankie was loving life until he made the wrong decision with a student in a different class.
This kid, Ryan Kelly, was a black kid that didn't even like urban music. That should have told me right there. I think I had to give a few things to other classes, and Ryan had some really appreciated way of greeting me. From there, it had begun this Ryan Kelly phase meaning they're stuck in my head 24/7, not in a love way, a trying to be their friend way.
Throughout the phase and having dramatic arts class, Frankie began writing scripts. The scripts would feature people like Renee, Dana, Ryan, and upcoming singer Amory. Because at the time, the phase was special, Frankie tried something new. On May 31st, Frankie and the school went to Connecticut on a boat. He had gotten Ryan's phone number and started chatting with him. While calling, he decided to record his conversations as memories.
Hello?
Is this Ryan Kelly?
Yeah. When you get the email, my email site will be on there, right?
Yeah. It was an intelligent idea, and it worked, especially with all the business calls I have today.
Frankie and the school went on another boat ride June 4th. Getting to hang out with Ryan more, Frankie regretted every move he made.
Instead of being with Dana and Renee the whole time, I hung out with Ryan. I stayed with him throughout the whole ride. In the end, he accused me of stalking. Despite him, I graduated from the school on June 13th.
As the friendship went up and down, it was one conversation that marked the official end of it all.
Hi, is Ryan there?
What's that?
This is Frank.
Frank, I know Ryan asked that you not call here anymore, please.
Painful just hearing that. But thank God it happened. One of the worst phases ever.
The bad luck didn't stop there. On July 8th, Helen, stepfather Freddie, Frankie, Michael, and cousin Little Willie were on their way to Pennsylvania. Unluckily, the van broke down in Parsippany, New Jersey. After eating lunch, a random white adult walked to the van. The man picked up a boulder and began to aim at Helen, who was pregnant at the time. Before throwing a boulder, a cop pulled up to the scene.
Everyone but Freddie and I were crying. The druggie said that he needed to borrow the cop's gun because someone was out to kill his girlfriend. For about an hour, they pinned the guy to the floor and took him away in an ambulance.
Frankie and the family finally got back on the road during the evening. However, another scary event occurred a few days later. On a sunny day, Frankie, Freddie, and Michael wanted to show Lil Willie the creek outside Mooka's apartment. Unfortunately, they didn't get far. Frankie had slid down a small hill while getting closer to the creek. Then, a resident approached Freddie asking him to stop trespassing. While heading back, the resident summoned his 2 dogs, chasing the crew the whole way back.
I had statistically the most pain on my body, although it didn't feel that bad. The dogs chased us so much to where we had to call the cops on them after the guy threatened to call the cops on us. Breaking the law, breaking the law. How f***ing funny. The dogs got arrested and not the breaking the law. Still, that shit was nuts, especially witnessing it.
Helen wound up having a miscarriage. Healing from the stress, Frankie got into Yu-Gi-Oh! And on July 28th, he had found something very special for the first time.
When finding scratch-offs in the wastebasket, I found a $6 winning scratch-off. It was the first time I found a winner. Sadly, when I got in line, all the losers I found had a check were stolen by a random customer. What would they want with them?
As August rolled in, Helen married Freddie August 9th in her backyard. It seemed like a happy day till Frankie was told the devastating news that he was moving back to Pennsylvania.
Terrible. See, when we first moved in '99, it was a new experience. Now that I found a love for music and knowing that there were no radio stations to enjoy up in PA, I knew it was gonna be bad. It was like sacrificing everything. Radio stations, seeing family, the Jefferson School, everything that I achieved as an upcoming superstar.
God bless you, I wish you all the luck in the world, and I'll miss you tremendously.
If I leave here tomorrow.
On August 17th, Frankie, Helen, and Michael moved to Pennsylvania.
Would you still remember me?
Within only days there, Frankie fell into a depression.
I would panic, complain. I would really get frustrated with being bored. They didn't even have BET. It was awful. I wasn't ready.
To occupy his time, Frankie created a TV show, The Long Island Lambs. Influenced by previous filmings in 1999, he brought updated thoughts to the table.
The Long Island, dun, dun, dun.
Hey, look! It's the pranking game. Yeah, I was waiting for you.
Approaching 9th grade, Helen was searching for a safe school for Frankie to join. Her first choice was the Jefferson Center, located in Dunmore.
When I walked in, there were very severely handicapped people. People in swings, people in... It was just awful.
One of the more normal-looking girls looked like she could have been the next Renee, too.
Unhappy with her decision, Helen had to put Frankie in Valley View High School. Frankie was brought into a special education class with teacher Miss Giambetti, but the lack of communication led to Frankie only attending school until 11 a.m. during the first semester.
I was just afraid of him being in school because of the way they used to treat him.
Pennsylvania didn't know how to handle Frankie. While collecting losing scratch-offs in the waste baskets, his hobby came into question at Wegmans, a friendly grocery store.
Someone by the name of Vicky approached me, very concerned. I wasn't going into the garbage, just only if tickets were on top.
Things got worse September 9th when Vicky informed the manager about Frankie's hobby.
The manager told me, if you don't stop, I'm gonna call the cops on you. I was devastated, held in my tears. I can't believe at only 14 someone would want to call the cops on me doing something so innocent and harmless.
But on the bright side, after emailing JJ from 98.5 KRZ, Frankie's name was said on the radio for the first time.
I was so impressed with his email, I just had to mention it. So apparently this kid wants to be like a radio jock or something. He remembers the exact day Avril Lavigne's Complicated debuted on the Hot 99. So a big shout to Franklin and Blakely. Thanks for listening, Frank.
KRZ.
As September continued, Frankie was able to listen to 2 of the New York radio stations online thanks to streaming, and even caught an amount of large toads. But once October came, Frankie ran into more controversy. On October 8th, Frankie had a collection of documents and special paint documents on Miss Giambetti's computer when out of nowhere he discovered that they were deleted. She admitted she did it. Frustrated while going to another class, Frankie wrote, "I hate Valley View High School" on a piece of paper. The teacher was mad.
While Mr. Kingston let me save little things on the computer, Miss Giambetti would delete them without my permission. Now this was before jump drives. No one realized the pain I was going through. First, losing everything. Second, lottery collecting. Now this. How did I survive this?
Even the schoolwork became questionable.
We were trying to learn words, say, and spell them, and if we got them wrong, we had to keep repeating them.
In the midst of school, a new hobby for Tuesdays started a week later, on October 15th, when Freddie brought Frankie, Helen, and Michael to the Tourist Club bar.
Such a great place. While Helen and Freddie would be at the bar, Mike and I would play Yu-Gi-Oh cards with Freddie, eat delicious tenders and fries for a cheap price, and I'd listen to College Station 99.5 WUSR on my Walkman. Really miss those times.
2 days later, psychologist Dan Edmonds was introduced to the family's lives.
Dan was somebody that would try to help us. I remember the first day I met him.
The next day, a strange scent came from Miss Giambetti's classroom.
These 2 twins would be in my class and they just stunk. Ugh, did they even wash themselves? Luckily, they went away shortly after that.
Frankie had a new experience on November 4th when he found NeoSeeker, a message board forum about video games. Signing up on the same day, he called himself FrankieThaLuckyDog as his username.
Frankie, my name, the T-H-A is an urban spelling of T-H-E, lucky is what I am, and dog, my favorite animal, which I also love the word in urban slang like, what up, dog?
Around the time, Frankie created his first website through Easy Designer from AOL.com. 2002 ended off well when Frankie made the honor roll.
Got my current boombox from Grandma Steele as a present.
Got a silver cross for Christmas.
My first chain, although the chain itself was a little small.
And Animal Crossing, a GameCube game Michael got that started a phenomenon throughout 2003. Coming up, a gross sight by Brian Dewar.
He would eat everything from boogers to paper.
And then a new hobby builds Frankie's hustle when A Decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is 2003.
That's right, yeah, I'm playing GameCube.
Animal Crossing became one of the most demanded games throughout 2003.
Yep, the GameCube's on.
Causing tension between the family.
We would have a time limit for how long we would play for the day. There were fights.
As 2003 began, Frankie was able to attend high school the whole day. On January 8th, TSS worker Audrey Jones stood by Frankie's side, preventing him from getting harassed and helping him with schoolwork. During that time, 50 Cent's song In the Club was one of the most popular songs on urban radio. When he tried to request it on 98.5 KRZ, they refused his request.
Pathetic. Then, like a month later, they started airing it. And what was one of the most popular songs in 2003? In the Club.
As it became easier to download music, Frankie started making CDs every month of the music he liked. It became easier to operate than cassette tapes.
I also would carry a bag with me every time I was in the car. The bag would consist of my tapes, CDs, wallet, Walkman, and anything else to make entertainment easier to enjoy.
But Frankie was forced to enjoy something different. Once the spring semester started, a former student, Brian Dewar, re-emerged into Frankie's class in a way he would have not imagined.
4 days ago in my science class, this kid, Brian Dewar, guess what he ate? He ate his report card. I have proof because this is all that's left of his report card.
What?
He would eat everything from boogers to paper. I must say that I'm glad he has a passion for video games. He might rule the world one day.
6 days ago, he ate his earwax. Isn't he sick?
I actually saw him the first week of 2008 in Walmart. I was a couple of cents short when buying Subway and he gave me a few cents. Tight right there.
Brian's behavior was later parodied in March during a Long Island Lambs episode called The Retarded School.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Brian Dewar, what are you eating?
Paper.
I have to say, very entertaining, influential. Gotta love original people, regardless of their actions. Oh yeah, we parodied Next Word, What Word, too.
Word? Word? Spell word.
Frankie continued to keep track of things. On March 3rd, he began writing in a notebook about how songs on his countdown would do.
Kinda like early blogging. Would write what I felt each day at lunch.
But the way Frankie tried to enjoy music in PA would catch up to him. During March, some of his favorite songs, less heard songs, and never heard before songs would disappear from playing on the radio stations in New York due to their popularity. He would blame his dad, Frank, and try to sue him for money.
It was anger and a lack of being able to frequently enjoy good music. He would always lie about visiting us.
A month later, on April 8th, it only got worse mentally. While browsing the playlists, even more songs went away. Tension built when Frankie was rumored to also have his first cavity.
We were visiting New York like every 2 months. I barely had a chance to hear any new music. I think also I was jealous of him getting married to Rafaela. He was getting away with murder.
And on May 18th, Frank and Rafaela were married. Having no effect on occupied Frankie, throughout the spring, he began to take his game thoughts to another level with RPG Maker.
I was able to create what a role-playing game would consist of. Heavily addictive, but very time-consuming. I never actually completed the making of the game, but I did something.
To add to the creation, Frankie discovered a radio station one Wednesday night while he was listening to the radio.
Turns out it was Marywood University's 91.5. It was an underground rap show called The Great White Hype.
The Great White Hype. VMFM 91.5.
I really enjoyed the mysterious music they played. Definitely gave hope for my Louisiana Pit radio show. It was a shame that I only heard them in 03 because they at least kept me company.
Frankie kept people company when he attempted to expand his socializing. On May 28th, while at lunch, a student named Jason asked Frankie to rap. Coming up with a 2-line rap, Jason added a 3rd line that would change the way Frankie was looked at.
This girl, Amber, who I really liked, really entertaining, I made a rap up about her going, I like this girl Amber, and I was like, damn, look at her. And these other guys told me to slam her. Hey, what can I say? Controversy sells. She even had the same exact birthday as me too.
Even Frankie had a lucky occurrence the following day, May 29th.
I'm the first one in the gym and I spot $40 on the ground. I was really excited. I waited for someone to say something, but the money was unclaimed. One of the luckiest days of my life.
For June, there was new life brought into the Seminario family. First, Frankie's Aunt Kim giving birth to a baby girl she called Gianna, June 12th. Then, around the same time, Frank sold the old house Frankie lived in on Long Island to Aunt Linda.
Whose house is this?
This used to be Grandma's, now
And what
Linda's.
the hell is going
Not mine
on?
yet, but we'll get
Pretty soon.
Soon to be Linda's.
I hope.
I like
I'm glad she bought the house. This way, I can always visit it.
Another new sign occurred near the end of June when Tourist Club member Sam, a friend of Freddie's, let Freddie and the family visit a house on Lake Carey.
The lake was lots of fun. Great getaway every week, great weather, and of course, my monthly CDs were on and poppin'.
Throughout the summer, Helen was pregnant again, hoping to have a third child. During July, while creating his RPG, Frankie discovered another show on 99.5 WUSR. It was from Scranton DJ Woogie. Frankie would enjoy the show so much to where he would get in touch with Woogie over the phone.
The first time I called him, he accidentally hung up on me. I was kind of thrown off. Luckily, he shouted me out.
I gotta give big shout out to my man Frankie up in Blakely. Blake, yo, Frankie, if you listen and play, give me a call back down at the station, man. I'm still here. I'll be here till 4 o'clock. I didn't know that was you calling. I ain't going nowhere, player.
I was so happy to get a hold of him. Still got buku love for him. It's unfortunate that about a week or two later, that it was the last time I heard him on the radio due to he accidentally had people slip while freestyling.
Although feeling welcomed by DJ Woogie, Frankie could never have success with his high school classmates. No matter if he rapped or not, he was always getting picked on.
People always had something to say to me and it bothered me. One particular kid I used to try to be cool with would come up to me asking, "Do you have a vagina?" Or people kept going at me, but truthfully, I don't give a shit anymore.
But on August 31st, someone physically almost went at Frankie. During a pit stop at Frankie's other aunt Linda Duddy's cabin, he, his cousin Lindsay, Lil Willie, and Michael would attempt to check out an abandoned cabin located in the woods. They didn't get far.
Now this guy lives way back there. He owns his own property, but he has a shotgun.
My cousin Lindsay takes us on this adventurous journey. You already know I'm up for hiking, and as soon as we're getting close, the guy turns off his music, which gave us a sign if he heard us. So then, we all headed back.
We didn't get close enough to the house because he turned off his music.
So then, we returned to the cabin, happily ever after.
But something wasn't happily ever after. Previously, on July 11th, 2000, Frankie lost his uncle Rash. On September 19th, 2003, the tragedy repeated in a different way.
My big toad Rash died. Months after that, all the other toads died too. Yes, it was sad. Unfortunately, they were stinking up my room and I wasn't ready to care for them at the time.
During September, Frankie got back to learning Italian after over 2 years and had a crazy history teacher, Mr. Kushmarek.
Oh boy! Oh man! Oh God!
Frankie would explore the idea of buying CDs from certain rappers from the South. On September 23rd, he purchased the Youngbloods' Drankin' Partners CD from the Gallery of Sound. Although Chingy's Jackpot was the first CD he bought, it was Drankin' Partners that would change his life to further embrace Southern rap music.
That CD was so tight. And it came with a DVD, which made things 100 times better for me. Learned a good bit about them.
Name of the record, Drinking Partners. For all them players out there.
People in my school would be confused why the Youngbloods were my favorite at the time. It's like, mind your business.
Youngblood, we always bring that energy to the table, so Drinking Partners is full of that, man, full of energy.
What came with good music would come a valuable hobby. Starting September 29th, Frankie would begin to find amounts of change lying on the ground. He made this an everyday thing.
One day it'd be 40 cents, 75 cents, $2.35. Hey, had to pick them coins up. People even threw money at me, sometimes dollars. I had it going on. Smart move, I must say.
My average day is 77 cents.
His passion continued when on Halloween he had skipped dressing up and headed to Philly with Freddie to see the Youngbloods perform at Power 99's concert.
First artist I ever saw, Youngbloods. I even smelt weed for the first time too. When Freddie told me what the smell was, I pictured this giant pink-looking flower with many petals.
Thanks to the Youngbloods, Frankie made a forum topic called How Was Your Day Today, where someone's day would be discussed. As the year was ending, Frankie had multiple pluses. On December 15th, Freddie bought a new house in Peckville.
Congratulations on our new house! Then this is gonna be my room, I think.
Got a money sign chain for Christmas, would create his first ever awards, and get a laptop from his dad. But on December 29th, the year ended in rage. By selling the house Frankie lived in, Helen was awarded approximately $20,000. Frank refused to let her have the money.
What a scary day. Mama had evacuated me to Kim's house, and Michael was actually downstairs in Grandma Seal's house. My dad embarrassed the out of Seal at her job. Made her go to her house while she was working, threatened her, started breaking things, which one of the broken pieces to a statue hit my grandma Lena in the leg. Over $20,000 that was not even his. Hey Dad, you gonna come after me next? Thought not.
Coming up, a child is born.
The birth of Dylan was awesome.
And later, the loss of another family member.
Her future was in jeopardy.
When a decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is 2004.
Many exciting events occurred during 2004. It was a year that transitioned Frankie and his life into a new direction. During the first week of 2004, Frankie made a goal to not cuss during the year. He did, only cussing a few times. In January, Frankie made an Italian film with his stepfather.
Quanti anni hai? Oh, 15 anni. How old are you? I'm 15 years old.
But it was January 12th that would help revive Frankie's situation with hearing music. That day, he received digital cable.
Pure revival in a new way. You had MTV2, MTV Jams, and Music Choice, which would play hot and exclusive music.
On January 30th, Dan Edmonds discovered Freddie's mother on the answering machine. It introduced an answering machine messages revival as well.
Happy New Year. Your mother. Helen, are you there?
Bring out your date!
Please be silent during announcements.
Another revival appeared during the same time when Frankie was reintroduced to an easy learning class. He was halfway through 10th grade.
What does a cat have? A dog? The f***?
1, 2, 3, 4. Luckily, Frankie was removed from the class, and on February 2nd, found himself mysteriously in love with a girl named Kendra, who went by Nook.
This was Message Boards 2004, so we didn't know what we looked like. She was from Brunswick, Georgia, and every February 2nd, I still honored the day I started getting to know her.
On February 16th, Frankie tried keeping track of videos that played on TV. But on the other side, Freddie was involved in a scary police scene February 18th. He was driving under the influence.
From what I heard, somebody snitched on Freddie, 6 cops drew their guns, and according to Freddie, it was like I robbed a bank.
Later in the night, while attempting to use the upstairs bathroom at 2:30 a.m., Freddie collapsed.
I heard the crash and I was scared to get up and see him unconscious. Now, I'd record that.
To describe the story as a memory, Frankie made his own music video to Jaquan's hit Tipsy, one of the hottest songs at the time.
Everybody in the club get tipped.
Freddie learned his lesson.
Your mother. Goodbye.
However, on February 20th at 2 p.m., Helen welcomed Dylan Rock Smith into the world.
And his name is unknown right now. His name is Dylan.
Witnessing the birth of Dylan was awesome.
That cafeteria was so packed.
During the trips to the hospital, Frankie would play some messages to Grandma Seal. She was thrilled and mixing was born.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, too.
Happy New Year.
Helen.
Man, I made a ton of those. Everyone loved the phone call mix.
Here's caller number 12.
Hello?
How do you feel about this, Chanter? Going out with Fran to Florida?
Frequently gambling, Frankie made a special bet March 10th. He would bet that if David Banner and Static's Crank It Up video played on MTV2 that night, he would quit biting his nails.
And guess what? It played! I stopped for 3 years. Well, I pick at times. Rarely bite anymore.
Originally kept track of a day's music on April 27th, 2001, on April 19th, Frankie would officially start his own playlist. Each current song played was tallied on paper for 3 weeks. Even though he had his mind right, on May 18th, when attempting to find change, the assistant principal refused to let Frankie walk around the lunchroom. He was devastated. To recover from the situation, he wrote MTV2 VJ Amanda Diva, discussing how bad his day was. Overall, she was very interested in hearing about someone's day. During the weekend, a scary thought of death reverted into a certification.
MTV Hits was playing non-stop videos from Madonna for 10 days straight. I had thought she died, but later found out she was on tour. By getting adjusted to her videos...
Madonna became Frankie's favorite artist of all time.
Easily. She's so versatile in every way I can appreciate. Nothing of hers is whack. Thank God she's still alive.
10 days after the change controversy, Frankie found an unclaimed $20 bill in the hallway. It was the same Friday he found the $40 in the gym the year before.
Only I know how to magically repeat moments on the same day weekday, know what I'm saying?
On June 13th, after requesting to be shouted out, Amanda Diva gave Frankie exposure.
How y'all doing today? It's Amanda Diva and welcome back to the MTV2 Hip Hop Countdown. I want to send a shout to my boy Frankie out there in Pennsylvania. What's good?
Golden moment. First time my name was on TV. Still love her. Glad she's all over VH1 now.
Lucky on TV, but not so lucky on message boards at the time. During the month, an anonymous poster on the TVT Records forum would harass Frankie and his actions.
His username was straight up faggot N-word with 3 G's gay. I think that says it all. I would get offended, but I'm 22 now. I was 15 then.
Programming music and stats would forever change on June 23rd. Suggested by Michael, Frankie purchased his first iPod. It came with iTunes, which calculated the amount of times he would play the music he liked. Frankie kept exposing his love for music. On July 4th, he had gotten a response from upcoming rapper The Game.
I believe I just told him how much I loved how he came on that Certified Gangsta's remix. Nothing but luck and intelligence, you heard me?
On July 24th, Frankie and a large portion of the family went to Camel Beach. It was a day to enjoy themselves and shout out all the infamous messages.
Bring out the dead! A herring! I like them French fried potatoes.
But on September 10th, Michael began going down the wrong path. With Lil Willie and a few friends, they approached a mansion near home. They were trespassing and vandalizing the pool.
I don't remember what the cops did. I only remember that Michael had his digital cable box taken away from him.
Frankie kept increasing his exposure. In September, singer-actress Lindsay Lohan released her single Rumors. Although a mild hit, the song struck Frankie's attention in a major way.
I knew of Lindsay Lohan for being this teeny pop singer, but when I first heard that song, it was like a huge step for her, talking about the club and all the hot she was saying. Not to mention, I related to it while being picked on.
Even better, liking the song led to Frankie's comment about it landing on Music Choice, not once, but twice.
I submitted my first comment about it on October 14th. Just went on their website and voila, Frankie the Lucky Dog strikes again.
Things only got better once again. On November 18th, Frankie called up Houston rapper Mike Jones for his birthday.
And this is gonna be like outrageous that I'm talking to a rapper.
Even though barely popular, his phone didn't ring.
This is what Mike Jones, and I appreciate y'all calling. This is my real cell phone number, you know what I'm saying?
He then tried to get a hold of partner rapper Paul Wall, which he obtained Paul's number from a mixtape him and Atlanta DJ Burn One released called Gorilla in the Trunk for.
This your boy Paul Wall, the people's champ, the cheek magnet, 832. That's the cell phone. That's the cell, baby.
I didn't realize how cool it was to have a rapper's cell number till I called it.
Hello?
Hi, Paul Wall.
What's going on?
Nothing much.
Who is?
This is Frankie from Pennsylvania. Yeah.
From Pennsylvania, what's the deal?
I was still real young with my autism, so due to the anticipation, I had written everything down on paper to say. Thank God for my Louisiana connection, because they really have made me deliver conversations naturally.
I just want to tell you that the Still Tippin' video has been my favorite for the past 2 months. And I'm so glad to see it every day. It was played for the first time on MTV Jams on August 29, 2004 at 12:48 p.m.
Damn, how you know that?
I remember. And I first seen it on September 12, 2004, and it was so great.
I had attempted to call him a few other times after that, leaving messages and but he never returned my calls.
Hold on, Mom.
But it was such a great highlight. What I like to call the greatest one-hit wonder on the phone. He'll probably never be surpassed.
The mailbox belonging to is full and cannot accept new messages at this time.
After a streak of very lucky moments, a very unlucky moment marked a transition in time. Previously, during a trip to Pennsylvania in October, Frankie's grandpa, Pat, suffered heartburn and was rushed to the hospital. Trying to heal throughout the month of November, Patrick Lombardo was pronounced dead on December 1st, dying at either 85 or 86 years old. Days later, Frankie, Helen, Michael, and Dylan rushed to New York to attend the wake and the funeral. Frankie's great-grandma, Lena, was in jeopardy with her future.
Sad. I never saw someone married for over 60 years. Incredible. It's just terrible how it had to end in tragic. Poor Lena. Her future was in jeopardy. She didn't deserve to go through that. I'm glad she's surviving strong, nearly approaching 90. Go, Lena.
On Christmas 2004, Frankie received a regular chain and his first ever watch. He was equipped with gear. Coming up, losing contact of a developing friendship. And also a very special birthday wish from Pitbull.
It's my birthday today.
When a decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is
2005. 2005 was a year that had the creativity and luck in the family, but would socially become so dry to where Frankie would dwell on a kid that he wanted to get to know more. The year had a very lucky start when, on January 2nd, Uncle Willie won 5 times on a $1 straight number and 2 box numbers. His winnings totaled a whopping $2,580. The next day, Frankie purchased his first digital camera and began to frequently take pictures.
Loved it. It was always useful because I always kept it in my pocket.
He also started to learn about Windows Movie Maker in class, becoming a unique video editor.
I remember my first project, the Erie Canal, and at the end I had Mr. Kushmarek saying, "Oh boy," including a picture of me with text saying, "Oh boy," too.
Also during January, Frankie discovered chill-out ambient music on Music Choice, Sounds of the Seasons, thanks to a 2004 song with an unexpected title.
Cam Farrer's Wasted the Overdrive. When I heard Seinfeld's Wasted, I instantly loved it. Nice and soothing. And now it's my #1 music to listen to when I focus or sleep. Genius.
Frankie's talents were always overlooked. However, on February 23rd, a new student by the name Miguel approached Frankie, which started a new phase.
He asked me about a haircut. Then, like Ryan Kelly, he greeted me in a way that once again made me want to establish a friendship with him. So then, I was crazy about him the whole year.
But as soon as Frankie got home from school that day, Michael's style and tastes changed.
The Eminem Mockingbird song was playing on TV and Michael came into my room, started criticizing it as well as rap music. I believe he began this goth phase.
Things continued to be mysterious as March rolled in.
On March 9th, someone left a brain in class and I took it home as a pet. I named it King Brain in honor of the dance music producer.
It's a brain. This is a special egg. It is the shout outs. I'm shouting a lot of people out.
The whole entire egg would be covered in people's names. Now, I write on 2 eggs because of how popular I've become.
Shout out to grandma, great grandma, Friday.
Then, starting March 28th, I would notice Music Choice Dance would play certain old songs once every 1 or 2 months. Very few of those songs would be so exciting to where I'd have a finger shaking moment in a very happy way.
They're really saying that.
How mysterious. Does it have to do with my autism?
Wanting to know more about autism, Frankie and the family went on their first ever autism walk on April 16th, the same day Helen purchased her Buick.
It was a cool day. Because I was still somewhat unfamiliar with it, I didn't understand much, especially since my mom did most of the talking instead of me.
But Frankie's actual autistic networking would soon be heard. His power of autism caught the attention of New Jersey native Danny Hernandez, who was working for record label TVT Records at the time. Danny saw Frankie post updates on how TVT artists were doing on TV and radio stations.
Mostly, I posted where TVT artists ranked on the MTV2 Hip Hop Countdown. Danny mainly paid attention to what I posted about Pitbull.
And just like Pitbull, Frankie wanted his hair to be short. So on May 11th, his Uncle Willie gave him a new look.
Oh yes, I a little superstar.
I feel better. My hair's no longer annoying, even though it was met with mixed reviews.
New looks even had a digital turn too, when during the spring semester, Frankie would learn how to use Photoshop.
Touchdown!
As Frankie was dying to hang out with Miguel, he had 2 surprise chances. First on May 24th during a trip to Keystone College, and on May 28th when he encountered him at the Jessup Carnival.
Oh, I was shocked and real happy. However, when I saw someone from my class from 2.5 years ago at the carnival, I made one of my dumbest huge regrets. I went to my wallet and gave the kid $5 because he needed it from someone. Come on, I was only 16, I didn't know better.
But it was a previous wrong decision that would summon karma. Previously, in the spring of 2000, Ian Neary covered Frankie's face with Frankie's jacket hood. 5 years later, on June 6th,
And yesterday something really scary happened. Ian Neary, his arm was cut all open and there was a trail of blood all through the hallways. Would you believe this?
He didn't seem to have substance abuse problems. A few days after, he told me he was feeling better. Still don't know what triggered it though. I kept trying to find, talk to, and hang out with Miguel before the semester ended.
In reverse, exactly a week later on June 13th, Frankie tried writing Miguel online after he didn't see him during the week. Unfortunately, a family member answered saying Miguel went to boot camp somewhere in Pennsylvania, staying in a dorm. Not being able to communicate with Miguel really affected Frankie.
I can't believe I dwelled on that for 10 months straight. I didn't even know what a dorm was. Sucks to not know anyone.
Just when life got sour, it picked right up. On Frankie's 17th birthday, courtesy of Danny Hernandez, rapper Pitbull gave Frankie a birthday call on Grandma Seal's house phone. They talked for only 15 seconds.
It's my birthday today.
You showed me a lot of love. I appreciate that, dog.
Thanks, you're welcome.
All right, Bobito, so you have a good day.
You too.
Take care, buddy.
Peace.
I'm glad somebody big's watching me. I'm something real special.
Frankie may have been happy, but as soon as he left Seal's room to talk about the phone call, a senseless, uncalled-for incident happened.
I go down by her swing set and I see little Daryl beating the out of my lamb chop dolls, which I always take care of my for videos and other things. I mean, why'd I leave him on there in the first place? It kind of was the end of my The Long Island Lamb show. Makes me feel tired, to the point where I'd fall asleep and doze off into the Keith sleeping.
The Keith sleepings started when Frankie would take naps with Music Choice Dance playing in the background. When he would wake up, he would try to remember what songs played during the nap. The Keith Sleepings name came from Frankie having a dream about finding his Aunt Lori's ex-boyfriend Keith.
And some dreams doze off, like I remember hanging on some rope in the sky one time, like they did in Final Fantasy VIII, but above like a carnival during the evening.
The family's creativity continued when Frankie would have a body part test.
Made the family guess whose ears, face, hair, and lips were whose.
Seal started going Duffy to some chanting. Followed by a memorable performance in Wegmans.
Who doesn't love a 61-year-old woman skipping through Wegmans with a shopping cart?
Grandmother, the retard.
Expanded his mind nearly 2 weeks later, Frankie was in Miss Stevens' yearbook class. Frankie became an asset for computer issues.
Gotta keep getting my name out there.
With his name out there, he got a huge surprise on September 1st. In the mail, he received a package of TVT Records items thanks to Danny Hernandez.
We got some presents in the mail, yes.
Even a signed poster from Pitbull, too.
The items he received would be also recognized by how he would vote on the MTV2 Hip Hop Countdown.
Despite voting 1,000, 1,500, or even 2,000 times for a friggin' video, the video wouldn't make it to #1.
Frankie would keep entertaining people as he made a collage full of family members during September. Everyone couldn't stop laughing. On September 15th, Party 105 turned into Party Hits. They mainly played pop. 2 days later, on September 17th, suggested by a Party 105 message board member, Frankie discovered iParty Radio, a Chicago online radio station that was even more dance-friendly than Party 105. Being a fan of chanting music from other countries, the chanting world would come to life on September 18th when Dan took Frankie to the Northeast Pennsylvania Lebanese Festival.
Yo-ho-renge.
Everything was all yo-ho-renge till the very end when Frankie got his picture taken with a hookah in his mouth.
Ain't that some good kush?
Also funny, during the beginning of the fall, while browsing Music Choice Sounds of the Seasons, Frankie stumbled across another diverse type of music, courtesy of Oktoberfest.
To me, it's humor. I love laughing and getting a kick out of it. Once a live bird that's in the and learn to yodel too. Hi-ole, yole, 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 yole. Hoo-ya,
Frankie's popularity kept rising. On October 18th, after previously mailing an original hard copy, the game signed a CD of his for Frankie.
Black Wall Street in the building.
To wrap up the year 2005, during December, Frankie decided to have his first ever Picture Awards.
This is the Long Island Lamb 2005 Picture Awards. The nominees are...
From December 13th through the 21st, a winner would be announced each night.
And the winner for Best Video Clip is... Any predictions?
The Hawaiian Girl.
Grandma down the block singing.
Grandma down the block running through Wegmans.
She's on her way home.
You are our winner.
However, just one day before the 2005 awards would be completed, on December 20th, after living for 13 years, one of Frankie's first dogs, Mandy, was put to sleep.
I want to tell you how sorry I am about Mandy.
Her ashes currently reside in a box at Frankie's house.
I miss her so much. She was the ambience in every room she was in. Rest in peace, Mandy. I love you.
The last thing to occur in Frankie's life in 2005 was a trendsetter. On December 28th at 12:29 in the morning, Alabama rappers 334 Mob's song, Take a Picture, would debut on Music Choice Rap. 334 Mob would become the first ever rappers from the underground that Frankie talked to break into the mainstream.
They discovered me from TVT's message board on October 3rd, 2004, and I started talking to them a day later. Greatness.
Coming up, a CD that started a phenomenon.
1100.
And later, an uncontrollable body malfunction that controlled Frankie's autism when A Decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is
2006. The year 2006 started off on January 2nd when Frankie made Grandma Seal rap to Pitbull's verse on Twista's Hit the Floor.
With Seal's in the area, better check her bank for direct deposit.
I wouldn't even know how to rap, but that was all through Frankie's efforts. He gave me the know-how, so to speak, and we just went from there, and it kind of like clicked, I guess.
Still supportive, Frankie began working on a year-end summary project for Pitbull. His birthday was on January 15th, and Frankie wanted to show Danny Hernandez that he had the video skills to create a video of the Pitbull things that happened. This would become Frankie's graduation project during the spring and have a legacy, as it's still shown to future Valley View High School seniors that visit Miss Giombetti's class. Since fall 2005, Frankie would listen and give feedback to new dance music with New Jersey native Mixmaster Al. However, toward the end of February, Frankie would review his first ever CD. He didn't realize he started a phenomenon.
Cascada's Every Time We Touch album. Who would have thought I'd be at 1,100 reviews? 1,100!
After being in a confused depression of his friend Miguel, randomly on April 14th, Miguel signed on AIM after 10 months. Frankie began to connect right back with him.
Now I can get back to focusing on real than to dwell. And as I continued growing on April 22nd, I had my prom with Cousin Jen.
On May 24th at Valley View High School, Frankie received the Jack Owens Award, an award for proving Frankie had potential even with his autism disability.
Frank will attend Lackawanna College and he will major in media technology.
He received a $125 check on top of it, too. Frankie's always aimed at perfection. However, some people disagree. Previously, on January 9th, iParty Radio premiered the Johnny Vicious mix of 3 6 Mafia's hit Stay Fly. Even on this new mix, Southern rappers Young Buck, 8 Ball, and MJG were still featured. iParty Radio, as well as dance outlets, didn't give the features credit. Frankie began to speak up.
What triggered it was a discussion about adding Chamillionaire and Crazy Bone's song Ridin'. I said, make sure you list Crazy Bone on the feature since you didn't list who was on Stay Fly. Then arguments pursued. I think the problem with the music I listen to is that no one, no matter what genre, knows everything about the songs like I do. Hey, can you play that Matt Derry featuring Antone, a Second Son, and Marcia Jewell Beautiful Day Sunburst radio edit signed with Dairy Products, Twisted Records, Koch Records at 134 beats per minute? Yeah, that one. Or how about Something in the Air from Beat Flipper featuring Tank Jones, Dirty, and Nussy with Southern Music Group? 82 beats per minute, produced by Beat Flipper. Yup.
Since then, Frankie's made an effort to always list every artist in every song when he does stuff with songs. Frankie's outspoken ways about music would start getting to him. On June 3rd, a forum member on Party 105's message board posted about a new song airing on Party 105. It was Wonderland Avenue's remake of the 1983 hit White Horse by Laidback. Mixmaster Al and Frankie would get into a little brawl when Frankie would automatically like the song after reviewing it and saying, nothing special. Al claimed Frankie likes every single song that airs on Party 105 no matter what it is. When he said it sounded like a rap song, Frankie snapped.
Al also made a point that the song had 127 beats per minute, which in his opinion didn't qualify for quality dance music that would have at least 128 beats per minute.
After diffusing the situation, Frankie took the incident as a brain enhancement. Ever since the incident, Frankie's been able to remember damn near every dance song's beats per minute quickly off the top of his head.
125, 0, 127, 128, 120, 132, 128, 152, 132, 130.
On June 7th, Frankie graduated from Valley View High School. On June 21st, he turned 18, but lottery people weren't the same.
I get ID'd now sometimes when I have adults with me. I kind of hate it. Bad luck. I really look under 18.
The next day, Frankie got another call from Pitbull.
It's your 18th birthday, you graduating, you're doing big things.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the love though, dog, and all the computer and all the sites and all that, man.
Following the call was Frankie's graduation party on June 24th at his house.
And my dad joined.
Everyone showed him love. On July 5th, he decided to join YouTube.
My first YouTube video was by Uncle Willie snoring.
Create a MySpace page for the family's big lottery winners, and even started blending songs together. Also, randomly, Frankie took a stab at producing on July 20th. The day continued when Frankie began a phase with Lil Frankie, a 12-year-old that lived across the street from Frankie's old house on Long Island.
I thought he was the coolest. Everything I did, he liked. We always got along fine.
But Lil Frankie would only be like that for less than 3 years. The day's final event would be Frankie's graduation present from his dad, his first ever book of scratch-offs.
In them, there's only one big winner. That big winner could be like a gamble. $40, $50, $100, etc. And the top prize, you never know, but lottery books are a lot of fun.
The next day, Frankie, Lil Daryl, and cousin Lil Anthony would create what they called homemade jackass.
You know, stupid but we always have to have humor.
But on a serious side, starting July 23rd, Frankie began to randomly drive. Frankie obtained his permit on the second try on August 4th.
When I lost on the first try, if I saw someone driving incorrectly, I would be like, you, get off the road.
On September 1st, Frankie made his debut at Lackawanna College and their orientation. While exploring, he was looking for a club to join. He met Jamie Rieger and joined the environmental club 6 days later.
When I first met Frankie, he was pretty quiet. Wasn't quite sure who he was. He was pretty private, kept things to himself, but he was really interested in being in the environmental club.
We were both active members of the environmental club, and Frankie and I used to go for hikes.
Also, then came English teacher Miss Osborne.
Not just a teacher, but a blogger. I learned so much about her from her MySpace.
But when Frankie tried to communicate with the Lackawanna crowd, it wasn't easy.
Lackawanna College was mostly black. Now, because I love rap music and want to establish friendships with black people, I get a little excited inside. Not sexually, but because I'm finally able to witness black people. As an autistic person, I would incorrectly have erections when communicating. It would be easy to hide, but when walking, I would feel the mark it would leave in my boxers.
As a paraeducator at Eastern Suffolk BOCES, where I worked one-on-one with teens and children with autism, I observed that people with autism react a lot differently than people that do not have autism.
I don't feel ashamed or embarrassed to talk about my malfunction because I'm speaking to those that have autism or know someone with it. I would sometimes prevent myself from approaching someone because I would get an erection. Thankfully, just this year, the malfunction has mainly went away. I believe people in the areas I would really like that on me made things not exciting, to where I would communicate a little more without getting an erection.
Frankie proved to people that he also had an ability in college, typing. During the semester, he would peak at a whopping 120 words per minute and 189 keys per minute.
My average is 94. I tested myself 29 with one hand.
On October 11th, he made Grandma Seal rap 4 of the most memorable rap videos to date. Chicken Noodle Soup,
Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side.
We Fly High,
Boy,
In the Tub,
playing with the bubbles. Wash my booty, you hear me?
and Fry That Chicken.
You gone?
We had a chicken, we had a duck. I said, but this is all through Frankie's ingenious ways. I just carried them through. And we had a lot of fun doing it. I started getting phone calls from family members to say, have you seen you on there? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
The fun continued on November 4th when Frankie went on an adventurous hike to Ricketts Glen with only the environmental club's Jamie, her husband, and her mom.
I almost was like, I'm not gonna die here, am I? But it was so much fun.
On a rainy day on the night of November 19th, Frankie reworked Fede Legrand's Put Your Hands Up for Detroit into a Long Island anthem.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up for Long Island. I love my hometown.
It would become Frankie's first #1 song of his to top his own playlist.
My dad's favorite song of mine, Laugh Out Loud. I thought it was random when I made it just for fun.
On the opposite side, on December 2nd, the Lackawanna College football team was in Arizona trying to have a perfect semester with winning.
So 7-6, the Falcons lead it.
Luckily, with only 2 seconds left, Lackawanna scored 3 points, winning all their games in the fall 2006 semester.
In Pennsylvania, Lackawanna Falcons have come on.
What a huge difference 2 seconds makes.
A music lover, Frankie tried communicating at Lackawanna by knowing where each rapper was from. He got his shine on December 7th, when, while in the college dorm, he spit a 12-minute freestyle off the top of his head.
I'll take you down a cliff so you can fall off the ledge. And like Fergie, I'll make sure you fall off the London Bridge.
I get under pressure when people ask me to freestyle.
Also, right after, for the first time, Frankie was with people that rolled up weed.
When there's weed in the air for me, it symbolizes good luck. The environment makes me feel like nothing could go wrong.
Coming up next, outrageous road rage.
Susie threw a shake at her face, and then Susie jumped out the car.
You couldn't have jumped out of the car.
And then Frankie finds what he won in 2001 when A Decade of FrankieThaLuckyDog continues.
The year is
2007. Frankie's goal was to do so many different things in 2007.
We're gonna win the lotto!
But it was a hard year to get by. Kicking off the year, he made a special part of Homemade Jackass called Toenail Extravaganza, where he tricked people into touching his toenail.
Is that your nail?
Better not be a bug.
Embracing dance music, Frankie shot and edited his first ever music video, Put Your Hands Up for Long Island, completed on January 23rd.
Put your hands up for Long Island. I love my hometown. Put your hands up
Everyone loved the shit out of it.
for Long Island, Island.
On February 22nd, Frankie received his first cell phone that lasted over 3 years. The year started off good, but then a continuous amount of bad luck occurred. On February 26th, after writing and recording an original rap for Grandma Seal about Frankie's Lackawanna acquaintances, Frankie sent the acquaintances the video of the rap.
With filled hills of mill and more Scots than Jill, it's my man, Ill Will.
But the next morning, the backlash occurred.
To describe my acquaintances, I used their pictures. I was grabbed, hated on, I had soda spilled on me, horrible day. Waste of good lyrics, and what an I made of myself.
On March 2nd, someone questioned what Frankie was listening to, which would change his look on dance music forever.
I hate that question. I refused to answer, and then this kid Jordan then said, "You're not listening to that gay club music, are you?" Then, later on, I saw the truth. I honestly don't believe the music's gay. I grew up on dance music and will always love it. It's like food to me. I usually don't say what I'm listening to because I know the one asking doesn't know. It feels funny to verbally express it. I don't put songs I like in jeopardy.
But they were in jeopardy just 5 days later. On March 7th, when friend Big Mike randomly stole Frankie's playlist paper.
Then they said the artist names and it was Autistic Pain. It's personal. They were curious of what I always wrote down.
Switching from football people to basketball, Frankie began a phase with a Philly kid, Darnell.
He was shy. I had frequently tried playing basketball because of him. Now, who would have thought he'd have a Twitter?
Days after the phase started, on March 26th, great-grandma Lena wound up going into a New York hospital after recently noticing heart conditions in Florida.
Through Dr. San Juan, who we owe this all to, has taken very good care of her as he made her a really good cocktail, all different types of medication that seem to be working together.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Lena survived a heart attack.
She survives those hospital things like it's nothing.
And she's got all her brains. You know?
God bless her, she's 90 now and it's going strong.
I think it's all in the stamina that you have.
Between family and Lackawanna emotions, Frankie began writing his first original song, Who I Am, on March 28th.
It's your boy Frankie pumping through your speakers like gas filling up. That talks about me get troubled like bills cashing up.
Then, right around the same time, I dressed up in this kid Rel's equipment, taking on Big Mike.
The emotions continued on April 2nd when a kid by the name of Barry Worthy took Frankie's basketball, making Frankie chase him in the dorm for 15 minutes.
This kid wanted to get with my Grandma Seal. He was crazy.
11 days later on Friday the 13th, Frankie was asked to get a picture with football player Ill Will's jacket on.
And out of nowhere, Ill Will grabs the jacket from me and I fall to the ground. I later told him about my condition, how emotionally hurt I felt, and he's like, autistic people.
Autistic people should not be touched like that.
Stop touching my
I didn't touch it. But autistic people should not be.
The same day, this kid T's picking on me too, thanks to Ill Will and his roommate making me talk to T in a joking way.
Shut up! I don't like you!
Why?
Because I don't like you!
More emotions were inside Frankie on April 28th when visiting Lackawanna College's homecoming, a combination of cold weather, new dance music on his iPod, and unexpectedly seeing Darnell made Frankie have his biggest shaking moment to date.
That's just how your body reacts, I guess.
Just 2 days later, on April 30th, Frankie proved he had a special basketball technique, getting a three-pointer shot in backwards. On the more entertaining side, Frankie got a taste of Lackawanna College's Spring Fling on May 4th. A really fun day, but that same day, Frankie made a huge regret.
I gave them each a note and $1. 4, I gave $1 scratch off. This one kid, Tyrone, got a big winner, $40. I could have had $40 in my pocket.
The two wouldn't talk or see each other after that moment. Frankie followed the incident on May 8th when he won the $1,000 Unico scholarship. Feeling honored, Frankie dialed a student by the name of Jeff Gums on May 11th.
Nothing much. How are you?
Cool.
That's cool.
I thought he was real cool. He was from the football team and one of my classes.
But out of nowhere, something confusing happened.
Hold on real quick.
Alright.
The phone disconnected. Frankie tried calling about 40 times over the summer with no answer. But June looked good for Frankie. First, June 13th, Frankie got a response from Louisiana rapper Hurricane Chris, responding to Frankie's playlist. Then, on June 16th, for Georgia rapper Backwards' 21st birthday, Frankie created a project for him, finding 102 people to say his name.
Backwards.
Backwards.
Backwards. Thanks for selling me my first pair of Jabos, which I started to love 2 years before when I saw you in them.
For many, it wasn't that easy.
Say backwards.
Backwards.
What did I say?
Say backwards?
Backwards.
You want me to say backwards?
People were confused. Mama Della refused to say it.
Say backwards.
No, she doesn't know how.
What?
Frankie randomly joined Facebook on July 5th. However, during the weekend of July 14th, an uncalled for, unthinkable incident occurred.
Mooka's with Susie, driving down the Scranton-Carbondale Highway. Mooka asked Susie for a straw. Susie threw a shake at her face, and then Susie jumped out the car. Even though I can't physically picture it, I still get flashbacks just thinking about it.
Susie, you couldn't have jumped out of the car.
But while safely driving, on July 18th, Frankie began driving lessons in Wilkes-Barre.
I'm a cautious driver.
On August 19th, Frankie completed his first ever original song, Who I Am. Just 3 days later, after months of gathering footage, the music video was complete.
On lottery tickets, I win a lot of cash.
Match the lyrics with the video as close as possible. My early songs were done weird. I wrote the lyrics and flow before I produced the song.
The next day, on the first try, Frankie got his driver's license. He kept the luck moving on August 28th at 12:35 p.m. when, while visiting the Fidelity Bank in Anion, his mom made a very good choice.
She told me to go inside to give the guy the gas money. As I left, in a typical Frankie fashion, I went into the garbage out front to grab scratch-offs. I grabbed about 3, and one of them was an unclaimed $200 winner.
When I was in the car with you, I was so shocked. You are truly a lucky dog.
God's watching you.
Yeah, because I know there were many cursed things before that in that year, and that happened. So.
Yes, it only proves there is a God.
Keeping exciting moments going, on September 4th, the fall 2007 semester had started at Lackawanna. However, when a Jeff Gums phase began that week, he didn't know that excitement was short-lived. While listening to Fergie's Big Girls Don't Cry, and after a talk with Grandma Seal, Frankie wrote Gums a personal Facebook message about his true, trying to be friends feelings about him on September 12th. He never responded. After noticing weird behavior of Gums, a week later on September 19th, after a lack of in-person communication, Frankie communicated by writing Gums a letter of what he wanted to say. Gums took the communication as homosexual and later Facebooked to Frankie.
And I was trying to invite him over for dinner, which failed. When I read what he wrote me to Grandma Seal, I started crying when she said, "That must not make you feel good." That wasn't the end, though.
They made up 5 days later on September 24th. Then, on Gums' 20th birthday on September 27th, Frankie released Who I Am as a CD single. On September 29th, while randomly visiting a Lackawanna home game, Mr. Christmas pronounced Frankie as a water boy for the home games.
Then on October 11th, one random day in the Lackawanna College Library, I was browsing Word of South's message board when I came across a topic called New Gangsta Gumbo Mixtape. A 23-year-old white dude by the name Jimmy the DJ from Kenner, Louisiana had put a new mixtape out. His profile said he represents New Orleans, so I'm thinking, maybe I'll get closer to connecting with Lil Wayne. It went in a different direction, so I'm pleased to have most of Baton Rouge know about me.
Down in that boot is where I live.
But the friendship with Gums would end 8 days later. On October 19th, an argument between Frankie and football player Tresser got heated in the lunchroom. Gums was laughing.
I later seen him and this dude Raymac asked me, "What up?" I said, "Ain't chillin'." Gums then told me to stop cursing. I've been cussing since I was little. I wrote him on Facebook about it and why he was laughing. He said I was bad-mouthing people, but still, you ain't gonna stand up for me? He then told me to stop contacting him, and I fell into a lonely depression.
The thought of Gums was inescapable.
There were tons of songs that reminded me of him, and they would play for months.
On October 28th, Frankie edited a music video for someone for the first time as a way to recover from the depression. Florida rapper C. Coop and his song Certified Goon. On November 13th, Frankie performed for the first time at the college's open mic night event in the CYC.
Top of the world, like kind of people on you with constantly rapping like this, kind of deep carpet, like, you know, kind of.
Performing is an excellent feeling, even though there were only a few people in the audience.
On December 3rd, T, the one who went,
"Shut up! I don't like you!"
did a speech in speech class on autism.
It's much higher than the risk of children developing autism or advancement.
Maybe he did like me?
Anything you want about autism? Just didn't expect the D-man to tell you.
Someone who did like him was Jimmy the DJ. On December 19th, Frankie gave him a call for the second time. They were on the phone for longer than 20 minutes.
It really opened the doors for my communication, another reason why I love Louisiana so much.
Coming up, a Mick Jagger remix starts a lottery movement for Frankie.
What will be inside of it?
And later, a Long Island murder.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it right now.
When a decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is
2008. Unexpectedly, 2008 became one of Frankie's favorite years.
Oh my God!
Frankie didn't realize till the year after that the year 2008 was once in a lifetime.
I feel like I would do almost anything to bring back 2008. I don't know how such a great, consistent, positive year was created.
On January 9th, Frankie bought a desktop computer. The same day, he removed Miguel out of his life.
He told me to do something with my life instead of my year-end countdown. As well as if I wanted his car, he wanted me to pay him $20,000 off top. How offending.
But Frankie gambled with his own mortality on January 23rd. Frankie decided to visit a white Jewish kid's apartment who was friends with his friend Roscoe up a few blocks from the college. When he arrived in the kid's room for the second time, an unthinkable, quote-unquote, joke happened.
He pulled a 9mm out on me, luckily empty. Because the hangout was real good, I had forgot about it for months, till I heard Lil Willie had a gun to him months later. Then, I got proof by reminding the kid.
Yeah.
9mm. I'm toting that big gun.
But 5 days later, Jimmy the DJ mailed Frankie a bunch of Louisiana CDs. After listening to them in February, he began to realize he would embrace the sounds of Louisiana, especially Baton Rouge. On February 19th, Frankie got back with having Lackawanna friendships by hanging out with football player Jewison and meeting another player, Juice.
Juice looked like my cousin Jacqueline, but I hung with them every day. Those weed moments brought back good luck for me too.
Then a double dose of exposure happened, first on February 20th when Party 105 featured Put Your Hands Up for Long Island in their morning mix show.
Wow, never expected my first ever radio spin. Thanks, Dad, for catching it.
And then on February 24th, when Amanda Diva got played on MTV Jams, and days later, Music Choice Rap. On February 29th, Frankie received an autism scar from Grandma Seal. However, his sexuality became questioned.
People told me to take it off. They thought it was like for gay power or something. It's autism.
While waiting for Juice on March 7th, Frankie kept playing the Young Punk's You've Got To on his iPod. He then made a video for it in the dorm.
You've got to lock it and load it and aim for the heart. Spin it and flip it, rewind to the start.
Simple, but pow.
Tell me what do you think about that?
What wasn't simple was dealing with getting dissed. On March 10th, Germany rapper JR wrote Frankie saying he was gonna get dissed by him and someone else.
You like fake Joe, I'm like Papoose.
I actually laughed.
Wanna be rapper from Long Island cause it's slipped on the wet beat.
Over a jacked beat? The rapping was pathetic too.
I eat like a dog for dinner. Yeah. Don't gotta tell ya, Frankie, I'm the winner.
More music came to life on March 21st. After leaving his grandpa's cemetery with his iPod on shuffle, Grandma Seal took him to All in the Family card shop just minutes away from Seal's house. On accident, while going in, he screwed the shuffle up, picking up with the Mick Jagger Charmed Life remix. Once he went in, a movement had begun.
As usual, picking tickets out the garbage, and these beautiful girls tell me, you can take the whole bag. which there was a $1 winner in there.
What will be inside of it?
Because of its greatness and starting in 2008, I try to keep the movement going, no matter if Indians work there now and question my autistic behavior. Not bad for randomly having a Mick Jagger remix on.
On April 13th, Frankie wrote and produced a song for Seal called Heart Throbbin' Every Heartbeat. It was the first time he wrote and produced for someone else. The video was released the same day.
Grandma down the block, native like an awkward in a car street. In the dictionary, I'm defined as heart throbbing every heartbeat. Haters hating on me, 'cause I'm a blessing. And it heart throbs every heartbeat.
On April 21st, Frankie saw Hillary Clinton at the Scranton Cultural Center.
Local volunteer with the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Frankie and Seal's family went to Disney World on April 30th.
Please have permission to call out the ambulance.
Yes, please, Norma.
They stayed until May 4th, when everyone went to Great Grandma Lena's house, located in Hollywood, Florida.
Nothing but fun. I forced Seal to have a snake on her. There were iguanas.
Bye-bye.
Florida, nothing but the best thing of 2008.
An exact week after the family left, on May 18th, Frankie graduated from Lackawanna College, earning an associate's in business studies. 2 days later, on May 20th, Frankie had gotten a friend request from Alex McConduit, a New Orleans student at Crescent City Radio.
Then I tuned into his radio show,
CrescentCityRadio.com. Shout out to Frankie.
The shout-out was nice, but a phase had begun when on June 12th, Frankie was threatened by Shoes, a Lackawanna football player trying to be a rapper.
I turned to Alex to bring me up.
Frankie turned 20 on June 21st.
We gotta play a special happy birthday to Frankie.
But just less than an hour from June 22nd, on Long Island, a senseless murder occurred houses away from Frankie's old block.
I found out that the guy shot his brother, and the kid was dead.
18-year-old Sean Clark admitted to police he shot his younger brother Brian Saturday night with a shotgun, claiming it was an accident.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it right now. Like, this is so messed up.
Terrible how an accident like this happened on my birthday, especially only about an hour before my birthday ended.
Now, over the weekend, friends told reporters that the two brothers had been having a tough time recently after their father died of cancer.
It's so weird when something happens like that. Was like right a couple of houses away from me.
The next day, Frankie made Alex a theme for his show.
Big Blue Radio presents the Hip Hop Hour with Alex McConnell.
It had bittersweet luck, but the following day, June 23rd, Frankie's luck was sky high when he won $500, his biggest winner to date, and another $90. Frankie scored another radio spin on July 1st when Alex's friend, Big Money Matt, played Who I Am on his radio show.
Who I am but my dog, Frankie.
Who I am.
Shout out to Frankie!
Frankie made Matt a theme too, which unlike Alex's, Matt played it each week.
What's good? Who we got on the phone? And it's your boy, Big Money Matt, man.
To show Alex what he was all about, Frankie began working on his first documentary, A Decade of FrankieThaLuckyDog. This original version was from 1999 to September 2nd, 2008, when it was completed.
I used PowerPoint to narrate it and had to record it with the video camera. Also, look at this soundbite. Drinking again. I had to record my sound bites too.
The fun continued on Long Island. Exactly 6 years after Helen and Freddie's wedding on August 9th, Marianne Avenue had a block party.
Nah, bike's flying.
Staying great, Frankie received his first ever service payment the next day, $10 at the time, for a CD review.
Some South Carolina rapper by the name Dank. Thanks.
But on August 15th, while at Aunt Arlene's, listening to Alex's show, Frankie heard something unusual.
This is the hip-hop spot with Alex McConnell.
He starts the show off with something that sounds like a theme song he made. I was really offended.
The Alex phase ended on August 22nd, and Alex never gave feedback on Frankie's documentary. Originally enrolled in Penn State for 2 days, Frankie was looking for a video major. Finally, on September 3rd, he started classes at Marywood, majoring in digital media and broadcast productions. While there, he met a very special girl near the bookstore, his first encounter at Marywood.
To me, she's a sweetheart. I mean, in every way. She has a wonderful personality. She obviously has a very compassionate heart.
The #1 female figure outside the family.
I'm very grateful for her.
I've known Frankie for like 3 years now, but it seems like so much longer. Loving Marywood, Frankie joined the campus's news, TVM News, for practicum. On September 18th, Baton Rouge became his favorite rap music taste, thanks to receiving a letter from Baton Rouge rapper Young Reddy, who wrote him from jail.
While Juice was annoyed with my texts and not answering me, Young Reddy goes and writes me a letter, boosted my communication and love for what I'm doing.
But Young Reddy wouldn't top the letter or the promises that were said. For a media production project, the class had to match pictures with a song. Frankie, however, on September 28th, took it to the next level, writing and producing his own song for the project.
Lottery tickets. Because I produced it at 143 beats per minute, the live project got f***ed up, so I made my own music video later on.
What was messed up was Frankie's appearance at Marywood's Fear Factor on October 29th.
Where's he going?
I didn't expect my breath to be taken away, but it was lots of fun.
On November 4th, in honor of the 2008 election, Frankie completed a music video for Change the World featuring his cousin Jen, the Wenny Pearl.
Too many shots and fighting. Why close life like a door?
I got featured on Change the World.
She was my first ever feature.
And it was a great experience. Frankie might make me famous.
Mary would continue to be fun, including what happened outside of it. On November 7th, when calling Baton Rouge producer-rapper Savage, Young Reddy answered.
FrankieThaLuckyDog, what up? This not Savage, this Rick. We're in the studio.
That same night at 3:42 a.m., Baton Rouge manager Jay Dirty, who manages Baton Rouge group Down Bad, returned Frankie's call.
What up?
Good luck, this is Dirty, man. What's up?
I love when people call me in the middle of the night.
On November 13th, after noticing a lack of updates, iParty Radio let Frankie manage their Rate the Music section.
Looks good on my continuing to build a resume.
On November 17th, Frankie's Lamb Chop dolls were resurrected when they, a few students in his English class, and himself made a video clip on The Odyssey.
Listen, I really need something to eat.
Ugh. Why'd you do that?
You want some? Here you go. Beautiful.
No!
So much fun. Who would have thought the lamb chops would make it to Marywood?
Can't believe Francis is dead. Francis is dead, man. All because of those sheep.
A week later, Frankie began making commercials. He regrets making so many.
I didn't receive a penny on them for 2 years. Really put me behind.
During November, also, Frankie began an idea for a TV show, The Louisianimals. The show would talk about the music life in Louisiana with fiction and nonfiction facts to go with it, preventing controversy. On December 15th, after suggested by his advisor, Dr. Lawrence, Seal bought Frankie his own video camera for Christmas. Coming up next, a life-changing death.
It's quite sad.
And a very special dog. When a decade of Frankie the Lucky Dog continues.
The year is
2009. 2009 is a year that Frankie'll always hate.
Was there anything good that happened or all negative? It was the worst year ever.
The year had started with a promise on January 3rd. A Baton Rouge manager who went by A1 and managed Baton Rouge rapper Nussy was gonna award Frankie with $1,000.
Probably pay like $1,000 to get you to work for us like that.
Unfortunately, it was all a fairy tale. 3 days later, he flew to New York City to get Nussy to sign with Universal Records.
I was on Long Island at the time and I told him to drive and see me. He kept agreeing, but it didn't happen. I was afraid to ask my family to take me because you know how they are with two things, unknown black people and driving an hour away.
On January 22nd, Frankie finalized and posted his 9th annual year-end countdown online. When he showed Alexia, she was in for a song buffet.
No way! You did all that work? That is some professional right there. I can't believe you did that. Like, that's awesome. I would never have the patience for that. You have so much time and you're so talented, Frankie. I can't believe it.
What was more shocking was Frankie recapping it live on camera.
Number 9, Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl, original / Jason Evans, well, Never Rock the Club, edit / Jason Evans, original radio.
Out of 800, he got 799 correct.
747.
I only messed up the Colby O'Donis second single, but I got 2 perfect scores the following year.
Colby O'Donis, number 747.
But the fun came to a halt one Tuesday morning. On February 10th at 9 a.m., Frankie received a confusing text that Nussy had died. Sadly, it was true. Nussy had been shot and killed by possibly a 16-year-old Marlo Mike, who wound up murdering a few others in the next 14 months.
Michael Louding was 16 years old when he was implicated in 6 different murders.
It's quite sad.
The death would change Frankie's life forever.
Even though I never talked to him, I really felt the death. especially since he shouted me out on Jimmy the DJ's second mixtape.
Shout out to my dog Frank on the East Coast. I see you, man.
Nussy was only 33. Just 2 days later, while in the PAC's lab at Marywood, A1 called Frankie to get in touch with In Your Face Music Group, a company that either helped sign artists or, as some believe, scammed artists.
They had blew me all the way from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, up there to New York, man, and I paid them to come out there, and they didn't give me the deal, man. They turned me around. It was all a scam the whole time, just to get money.
Taking a break from the negative, one Tuesday in the radio station office on February 24th, student Sarah Cucci had a memorable performance.
Love the cooch. This chick was a character. Ever since I saw her as an anchor on TVM, I knew this chick was something. I really miss her. She should have never left Marywood out of nowhere. On March 10th, an assignment for my sound and cymbal class was to do a paper on an opera. I loved it. This is for Linda, she says. Really?
But then on March 11th came the haunting promise of In Your Face Music Group. While at Marywood, Frankie was on the phone with them. He had got someone to remove a blog entry that claimed In Your Face was a scam. While awaiting money, In Your Face then said they would send money directly to Frankie's bank account.
I don't know, how much money you guys have.
No, but just tell me what you wanted to put in and we can make it happen.
10,000 at the most.
We're going to have to do a bank transfer.
But just hours later, things changed.
Warning, bullish alert. We just don't give away $10,000.
Then they texted me that they were going to send me $100, and I cried.
I was very upset about that, and I knew just the figure of 10,000 when they agreed to it. I knew that it was just a scam.
Once Grandpa Piggy found out, not many family members know about my business things, but once he found out, my reputation seemed really low.
Cough it up and give it to him.
Thankfully, thanks to being a graduate student, Marywood made my wish come true 2 years later.
On March 17th, Frankie requested Alexia to be his agent, helping him get business issues resolved.
My name is Alexia. Are you aware of Frankie the Lucky Dog?
I wanted $250. Wow, I should have known better, but they agreed.
Frankie never saw any money. Things got bright for a second again on March 31st when during Modern Belief class, his professor had equal hip-hop thoughts with him.
On my top 10 of March 30th, my #1 song was Kana and Chubb Rock's ABCs. In class, she goes and plays the song. We saw it in class today. Wow!
On April 6th, after having Jimmy the DJ contact Viper Graphics from Germany for $40, Viper hooked Frankie up with a logo.
It's terrific. Looks brilliant in my videos.
But due to Nussy's death, the music environment, and time, Frankie let go of his mainstream music format he would keep track of and listen to.
Looking for new singles each week took too much time. There's a bunch of nowadays, but I still have a random ear. No, just get dance remixed and I might pay attention.
But at his favorite station, Frankie noticed one day in April that he had been blocked.
I think it was because I posted that my dad heard Put Your Hands Up for Long Island a second time, and they denied it. I went at them when they told me to stop posting about it. Telling me to stop is like calling me a CT, uncalled for.
Frankie took his skills to the next level on May 7th, where he started a buffet movement.
I had about 5 plates of food. And now I love buffets so much. Thanks, Marywood.
But it was one guy that would interrupt the party for the whole summer. Aldo, a guy Seal's friend Fran was married to, would secretly claim people from the family were bad-mouthing about Fran, who began falling in love with Uncle Willie.
We all don't have time for this.
Just as bad, Frankie would lose quality contact with Lil Frankie on May 30th.
I was on the phone with a rapper that just got out of jail, and Lil Frankie went to his friend's house, leaving me in the blazing heat for about an hour. I never thought he would change on me.
Lil Frankie found a new love at age 15, beer.
One day, him and his friends were talking about putting their money together. I hate when people make alcohol more important than me. Plus, I was visiting.
Frankie finally got to see his dad work at his now-owned store in Fire Island on June 6th. No matter how homosexual it was, Frankie enjoyed it.
I'm buried.
On June 21st, Frankie turned 21, legally going inside the Mohegan Sun Casino in Wilkes-Barre.
Screw the slots. It's all about roulette, electronic blackjack. Feel me?
On July 10th, Frankie received a MacBook from his dad, where he would edit videos on the go now.
I now clean my hands every time I'm done eating.
Frankie created his Frankie the Lucky Dog's blog using Blogger on July 20th. Thanks to mainly the reviews, the blog has currently over 50,000 hits. Throughout the middle of 2009, after disagreements, Frankie wouldn't get along with a few Louisiana rappers.
Thanks for taking advantage.
Their lyrics would then intimidate Frankie going to Louisiana.
Let me read some of this dude's lyrics. If you ain't got no kids, you ain't a killer. And before I got a kill, I was real. SKs will break your little vest up. Sorry, I'm a virgin with no street cred. Guess you can't be cool with me? Nah, what I'm saying is he's claiming this but doesn't exactly prove it. I asked someone, would this dude murder me if he saw me? And he said, that dude ain't living what he raps about, so he's fake. His gun is probably somewhere in the closet that never comes out, or he probably ain't got one. Really, there are a lot of fake rappers out there. Pay attention to how they treat you.
But for real, on September 6th, Aunt Judy visited Helen's house with a dog she called Cookie.
Love Cookie so much. Picked right where Mandy left off.
During the fall 2009 semester, Frankie needed practicum hours for audio work outside of class. On September 10th, he received a call from Dan Miller from VMFM 91.7, approving Frankie's request to have a radio show.
Radio shift.
On September 19th at 6 p.m., the Louisiana Pit had its first broadcast.
VMFM 91.7. This is the Louisiana Pit with your boy Frankie the Lucky Dog, and I'm going to be here until 8 o'clock. I'm glad people love it, but I have other talents too. Now we're going into the next song.
During the week of September 20th, Frankie's media programming teacher, Dr. Sadowski, assigned a media diary assignment, keeping track of all the media activities that went on.
I kept track every 15 minutes and carried a paper with me of what went on. I blew the teacher away. A+.
Frankie kept achieving, especially throughout October, when he would climb the Marywood rock wall. He topped it 9 consecutive times.
I did it! Then they changed the things you grab, and I started losing. But it's something I never imagined to achieve, especially being afraid of heights.
Frankie blew the class away.
Grind them.
When on November 1st, him and Dirt recorded a radio demo.
This is Frankie here. You're listening to WRWD.
A lady walked in the other day, bought a scratch-off ticket and collected her pay. She finna get 500 G's, aka 500,000 for y'all broker than me. Yeah.
He produced it and we rapped it. #1 presentation.
I think the coolest thing about Frankie, I've had him as a student at Marywood University for several semesters. He is crazy creative, and I think he does his best work when you just back off and let Frankie do his thing.
Frankie and Uncle Willie are known for big lottery winners, but the script changed on November 21st when Helen hit a $1,000 winner on a $1 ticket.
I won $1,000 on $1. I'm my pants. I actually just had an asthma attack. I don't want to home.
First, Linda Duddy's $500 $2 bingo winner in February. And now, this became my first optional news package.
It was a lucky Saturday morning at Wegmans in Dixon City today. At around 12:30 in the afternoon, Helen Smith went shopping and decided to purchase a few scratch-off tickets. With limited choices, she chose Holiday Bucks, the latest $1 ticket out now, winning the top prize of $1,000.
To end the year off, Frankie was preparing for a sound effect for his projects for 2010 and beyond. By visiting Marywood's art building, he heard a door slam. Then, around the same time, got Cookie barking on tape.
From there, it became the Frankie the Lucky Dog sound.
Frankie the Lucky Dog, bringing it to you right now.
Frankie has come a long way since his early days.
Frankie, you're very smart. I can't believe all you do.
I love my Frankie with all my heart, and anybody mistreating him or anybody I think is disgusting. Especially with him, he just tried to extend himself many a time socially, and only to come up with all this opposition and rejection. And as far as his education, he has advanced so, and I'm hoping that his career soars when he gets out of there with his masters.
You're a piece of bread. You're very good to everybody. You're loving. You're giving. You're just a good person. You're a very good person, and I hate to see anybody take advantage of you.
You are amazing with the progress you made and how you've grown up and became a man. You overcame everything.
Yeah.
So you should be proud of yourself.
I have such great memories of me and Frank when we were just little kids and we would be in his room playing video games. We always shared the love of video games, and we would play Video Painter and we would play Mario Kart. And I always remember Frankie always had to be on top, and it shows now that he's older. He has that same, he wants to be on top, and that's great, and he's so motivated. And now to see Frankie all grown up with his videos and his music, I'm a very proud cousin, and I love you, Frank.
Like, my whole Marywood experience, I just remember Frankie. When I graduate, it's probably gonna be, thanks Frankie, because he taught me how to use Final Cut, he taught me how to record, like, he started everything off for when I could do stuff on my own. Like, everything I do on my own is all thanks to Frankie. He helped me with tons of projects, he helped me learn things in school, out of school. He's amazing.
Frankie pretty much is the voice of Marywood Common Arts Department. Most of the students are only doing the bare minimum work. Frankie's doing this every minute he can, every free opportunity.
Frankie was one of the greatest students to see his progress in his understanding autism and really coming to grips with it and being able to move forward with it. It was really great to see Frankie transition.
He also took a lot of pictures and was our historian for the environmental club. It was kind of nice. Every week he'd come in and add extra photos of what we had done last week and the hikes we used to take. So that was really cool.
I think it's fantastic that you're still involved with the Lackawanna College Environmental Institute. We're looking forward to seeing what kind of designs you can bring to the table with our newsletter and our flyers and hopefully a new general brochure. We definitely could use some work updating those old templates, so we're really excited to see what kind of work you bring to the table.
What up, FrankieThaLuckyDog? It's your boy, that boy.
Frankie is such a natural in front of the camera. Like, he doesn't even get embarrassed or anything. He's got such an easy way about him, and he's just so sincere, and you really believe like everything he's saying because he's so like it's from his heart. And he's so creative, and he's really, really funny, and I love watching him.
You just seen Frankie eat that 8-course meal at the Chinese restaurant. Wow, that boy can eat. Course number 1, course number 2, all the way to course number 8. I don't know how he can get up. He ate like a champ.
How he stays so skinny.
And he's nice and slim. That's Slim Frankie.
He has a lot of energy. He always turns up these products that you thought, I didn't even think that could happen in television. And he makes great products, great video elements, all come together. And this dude is going places. I just hope he'll let me ride on his coattails.
He's really caring too. He's a really nice person. Like, he's one of those genuine people that like knows how to do business. And I think he's gonna be a huge producer. Everybody in Louisiana knows him. Everybody in Pennsylvania knows him. He's like almost famous. Just that one more step, Frankie, you own your own business and you got everything you've ever wanted. He's like an idol.
Yeah, it's hard to believe you guys are all grown up now.
Yeah.
You know? But I've known you guys since you were knee-high to a grasshopper.
Yeah. And I'm glad to have evolved and still be around for people like you.
Yeah.
Like, there's always people that grow and then they just like fade away for a while.
Yeah.
But me, I'm always active.
Yeah.
So you'll always see me.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, you know.
I've always been creative in my imaginary world, but always failed at communicating to the mainstream audience. I never expected to be successful in the mainstream. I seem like I'm going to have a really great 2010 decade.